A trade proposal that nobody was watching just entered the A.J. Brown market, my friend, and the name sitting at the center of it may be the most surprising of this entire process. This is not the New England Patriots. This is not the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is an NFC team that was, according to insider Jeff Kerr, genuinely close to closing a deal with Philadelphia before the June 1st deadline, and that put a package on the table capable of making any Eagles fan think twice before mourning the receiver's departure. The detail that makes this proposal truly explosive is the name of the receiver who would come to Philadelphia as part of the return. A future Hall of Famer with 117 career touchdowns and 6 first-team All-Pro selections. So if you're a true Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this could be the most unexpected twist of the Eagles' entire offseason. I'm going to break down who this team is, what insider Jeff Kerr revealed about their real level of interest in A.J. Brown, who the legendary receiver is that could come to Philadelphia as part of the package, which Rams safeties would also be included in the trade, and why they could actually be even more valuable to the 2026 roster than the receiver himself, and what all of this means for Howie Roseman's negotiating position right now. But first, hit that like and subscribe to the channel, because the Eagles never stop making headlines. The June 1st deadline has passed, and with it, the financial structure of the A.J. Brown trade changed completely for the Eagles. Before that date, moving Brown would have cost the franchise more than $43.5 million in dead cap. After it, that number drops to approximately $16.4 million in 2026, with the remainder spread across 2027. The window Roseman was waiting for has finally opened, and the market knows it. But what the market was not accounting for is that an NFC West team was far closer to closing this trade than any report had indicated up to this point. According to insider Jeff Kerr, the Los Angeles Rams were in advanced conversations with the Eagles and reached a point described as close to an agreement before the June 1st deadline. The Rams were open to including future draft compensation alongside players who could help Philadelphia compete for the Super Bowl immediately. The combination of assets and Los Angeles's willingness to include immediate impact players in the package is exactly the type of proposal that captures Roseman's attention in a way that pure draft picks often cannot. Now that June 1st has passed, and the financial impact of the trade has dropped dramatically, any conversation that had been paused can be resumed with a completely different dynamic. And this is exactly where the most surprising name of this entire offseason enters the story. The receiver who could come to Philadelphia as part of the return package is Devonte Adams, 6-time first-team All-Pro, future Hall of Famer, 117 career touchdowns. Last season, Adams scored 14 times and continued to be one of the most precise and technically refined route runners in the entire NFL. Kerr mentioned Adams specifically as one of the players the Rams could include in a deal, primarily because Los Angeles would need to make significant financial adjustments to absorb A.J. Brown's $96 million contract without compromising roster flexibility. To understand why Adams makes sense for Philadelphia, you need to look beyond the number on the birth certificate. Adams will turn 34 this season, and the natural temptation is to treat age as a limiting factor. But what Adams produced last season suggests he still has 1 or 2 years of extremely high-level production ahead of him. 14 touchdowns in a single season is not the kind of number a receiver in decline manages to post. He remains one of the best red zone players in the league, combining timing, positioning, and soft hands in a way that defenses across the country simply cannot replicate in practice. From Jalen Hurts' perspective, having Adams alongside him would be a far smoother transition than most of the alternatives available on the market. Adams is a receiver who simplifies the quarterback's read rather than complicating it. He gets open consistently, finds space on short and intermediate routes, and turns ordinary passes into yards after the catch. For a quarterback who spent last season being criticized for hesitating in tight windows, having a receiver alongside him who naturally makes that process easier could be the difference between recovering his level of excellence or continuing to wrestle with the same limitations. And there is still the timing question. Adams would arrive ready to contribute immediately, without the adjustment period that a young receiver inevitably requires. While Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, and Marquise Hollywood Brown develop within the system, Adams provides the production floor that allows the Eagles to keep competing at the championship level during that transition. This is not a long-term solution. It is exactly the kind of smart short-term move that Roseman loves to execute when the numbers make sense. But the most interesting part of the Rams' proposal is not the receiver. It is the safeties. And this is critical for any Eagles fan to understand, because the safety position is right now one of the most genuine vulnerabilities on Philadelphia's entire roster. The Eagles lost Reed Blankenship to the Houston Texans and traded Sidney Brown to the Atlanta Falcons this offseason. Vic Fangio will use Cooper DeJean as a safety and base defense packages, with Andrew Mukuba as the second starter. But the depth beyond those two names is legitimately thin, and any injury at such a critical position for Fangio's scheme could compromise the entire Eagles' defense throughout the 2026 season. That is exactly where the Rams have pieces that would solve a real problem for Philadelphia. The first name is Cameron Curl. The veteran safety recorded 122 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions last season, showing the versatility to play both near the line of scrimmage and in deep coverage. Curl is exactly the type of defender who functions within Fangio's complex system. A safety who does not need a limited role to contribute and who can be deployed in different ways depending on each week's matchup. The second name is Quentin Lake, quieter than Curl in the media, but equally valuable in the eyes of the league. Lake recently signed a contract extension with the Rams, which complicates his inclusion in a trade but does not make it impossible if the overall package is large enough to justify the move from Los Angeles' perspective. Last season, he recorded 61 tackles and 10 passes defended while operating at multiple positions in the secondary. 10 passes defended is a number that reflects a defender with above-average instinct and game recognition, capable of anticipating plays and being in the right position before the snap even happens. If the trade with the Rams were built around Devonte Adams plus Cameron Curl or Quentin Lake, along with future draft compensation, Philadelphia would be receiving a Hall of Fame receiver to keep the offense at an immediate championship level and a high-quality safety to correct the biggest vulnerability on the defense. That is the kind of multi-dimensional package that is much harder to put together with the New England Patriots, who operate with a roster still in reconstruction mode and a fundamentally different negotiating logic than the Rams bring to the table. And that is exactly where the true value of this proposal reveals itself for Roseman. Even if Los Angeles is not A.J. Brown's final destination, the existence of a concrete and documented proposal from the Rams returns to the Eagles' general manager the leverage he had lost when the Chiefs' interest cooled and the Jaguars failed to advance to a level of genuine seriousness. If the Patriots know that the Rams are willing to put Devonte Adams and an impact safety on the table, the pressure on New England to present a more complete offer increases immediately. The A.J. Brown market is more open right now than it was before June 1st. The financial impact has diminished. The Rams have proven they have real interest. The Patriots remain the frontrunner, but now with documented competition from Los Angeles. And Howie Roseman is operating in exactly the kind of negotiating environment where he historically extracts the maximum possible value from any situation. With the post-June 1st window now open, the Rams at the table with a proposal that includes a future Hall of Famer and impact safeties, and the Patriots monitoring every move. What is your assessment? Does an Eagles and Rams trade involving Devonte Adams plus Cameron Curl make more sense for Philadelphia than a deal with New England built around draft picks? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later with the latest Eagles news.